Okay, so I'm going to try analyzing Myst and see how it goes.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Okay, so it all starts with like the starry sky and this crack in the sky which seems to appear at the same time as an eclipse or something. And then the figure of the person falling into this world transforms into the book. The falling person is the falling book. So yeah. I've always liked how this game starts, because see, let's say the outward appearance of what has just happened is that you entered into a book, or that you fell through the sky, or that something like that has happened, and you've ended in this island, right? And yet you appear exactly on the harbor next to a ship. So symbolically, you know, this is a place of landing. This is where ships land when they reach sea. So even though this is not the ship you have used to come here, it's almost as if in dream symbolism it is. And of course I think that this might prove interesting later on when we enter this age. But at the moment I just want to focus on this idea of ships. Especially, this is a sunken ship, which will then rise out of the water. It's the ship that is unusable that will then become usable, and is right next to oops. Okay, I don't remember where things are, but it's essentially there are two main ships on this island. There is this ship, and there is a spaceship. So together they kind of abstract. You can abstract them both into the archetype of a ship, a vessel. So anyway, let's just stay here for a while. You're right next to the sea, so the starry sky, the vastness of space gets substituted for the vastness of the ocean. Again, an abstraction could be made that they are a similar or the same vastness. Okay. Well, even though you can go anywhere you want in this game, I think, you know, the game kind of lands you here. And this is what I'm going to look at first. So, you descend, right? You're descending, and okay, here I'm just gonna read a little too much into this, but the design on this carpet to me looks like stars, or suns even. So this hall itself is like the starry sky which you were at before. And you're descending, you're falling down into the stars. as the intro of the game shows. It's as if it's being reenacted in a theatrical, symbolic way here. And what do we have but a sort of a body of water? Let's see. Okay. The water is simulated. Settings, dimensional imager, typographical extrusion test, water turbulent pool, and marker switch diagram. Numbers. I suppose we could try them all. Typographical extrusion test, 40. 40. This is the island. So in this first area, under a carpet of stars, there is a sort of a virtual body of water and a virtual island. Almost as if the game is trying to remind you that this island is man-made. The island you're standing on, Myst, is man-made and written, right? By extension, and of course this is the cool thing about this game, the game itself is man-made, the game itself is programmed, and it is programmed by, among other people, by Rand Miller, who is the character who has programmed this game. So immediately the game is kind of nodding towards the player. The character is in a programmed island and the player is inside a programmed game. Water turbulent pool, I suppose, is what we just saw. Marker switch diagram, 47. Okay. It's focusing your attention on the switches, which you will use to power up the island. So immediately there's several things, right? You're on this island and there is no power. It's like the sunken ship. The island itself is still a shell. It's virtual, it's programmed, and somehow you, the player, need to breathe life into it by playing. So, yeah, let's continue. A note. Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our forechamber, beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve the message. Yours, Atris. Cool. This is another nice thing about this game, is that even though, like in the game's official narrative, you are not Catherine, you are a stranger, I like that the first object you find that is addressed towards you is addressed Catherine. So, in a kind of it's got this sort of mythological character to it, where you, the player, and on some level, could be Catherine, and somehow you are trapped here, and someone, your loved one, is speaking to you from the beyond, almost like Persephone going down into the underworld. But here, the underworld is an underworld of the imagination, of the human, programmed kind of artistic world. Anyway, so we have one marker switch, 2, 3. Suppose we better look for them first. I don't remember where they are. 4, so this is the other ship. So the ship, the spaceship and the sea ship are kind of on parallel areas of the island, and they both need powering up. They are kind of reflections of each other. Okay. I've completely lost track of the switches. Oh, there's another one there?
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return. But if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, wait, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
Okay. The number was 8. The number of switches is 8. The number of infinity. And that is through, it's through which the the message comes through. And it's a hall of stars, and in the center of this hall of stars there is an opening where messages, language, information comes out through the central hole in the stars, like the star fissure at the beginning of the game. And of course, language is what allows you to move from age to age in this game through the books. Anyway, it's funny also that all 7 of the 8 switches are immediately accessible, and the 8th one, I will need to cross the path to the clock tower, right? So you reach 7, and in order to jump towards infinity, number 8, the transcendence of time, you would have to go towards time, towards the clock tower. In any case, let's continue. This is weird. It seems like a male figure and a female figure. And there's like a staff maybe in the middle. And of course this whole, like this decorates the entrance, right? Now, once again, we find ourselves in a planetarium. more reference to stars and looking up at the stars, while sitting on a star, a many pointed star, like the initial chamber, right? Nice. So, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna look at this yet, but stars seem to play an important role in all this. Here. This is so similar to the water, to the fake water in the underground world. And let's try and like see where we are. Okay, this is the harbor, right? Here, underneath these stairs, is the passageway that leads to the chamber. So if we follow these stairs more or less in this direction, the chamber would maybe more or less fall underneath this. Pure speculation on my part. It's probably more here. But it could kind of enter into alignment with this area. So that initial chamber is the underground version of this one. And funny enough, it is, due to it being more underground, it's more explicitly virtual, right? This is realistic, you know, within the graphics of the time. This clearly represents rock, stone, and real water. But underneath here is a virtual container with virtual water, as if in the depth of the unconscious is the awareness or the prototype that serves as a Platonic idea for this above ground thing, which is aligned with the clock tower. Another cool thing is that the clock tower has a crescent moon on top of it, which was the same image we saw at the beginning of the game, right? We fell through a crescent moon shape, and we fell down into an age, the age of Myst. It's funny how this game chooses the word age to refer to physical places, as if time becomes space. In order for time to become space, there needs to be some switch in dimension. So I suppose implicitly something like that is taking place. The clock tower stands in the middle of a body of water. Like the ship, it is sunk in water. The main symbol for time has its roots in the ocean. And we have a miniature version. And this giant mountain, very volcano-like, also kind of aligned with all this structure. So we have the clock tower is behind us, the mountain volcano kind of thing is in front of us, with the library in the center. The library is where books are kept. Books, language, at the center. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, before I explore that too much, I'll have another look around. Ship. Electrical wires. Okay. Nice. Well, I think I'm going to leave it here for the time being and then start reading in the next one. Thanks for watching.